like, I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about was picking or choosing your significant other. Like,
why are you guys looking at me? You guys don't look at me.
We both look at you? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Even Peter
Why'd
was
you make
looking
that
at
face,
me.
though? You made a face that was like,
I was like, what are you
what's he going to say?
I don't have the answer. Obviously,
Hey,
you guys do.
Hey, this is either going to be
What
really
are you
great
talking
for
about
us
here?
or really bad for us.
Yeah.
You know? And let's go. Let's see where it takes us.
I've been spending time in the dojo, doing all the things that they won't show. No spotlights on me, no photos, becoming the king on the low level.
I just get the vibe from a lot of people that I know right now that are buying properties and building their own cul-de-sac with their families.
Yeah.
They're like, then they, like, you always have a babysitter. You're always like, hey, you always have your back covered. Like, if I lock myself out of my house, I can, be with my family's got the key next door, whatever it is, right?
I mean, that's an sure, but that's more of an upper middle class. Like, most people can't do that, though.
I mean, like, here's the thing, though. Most people can. They just choose not to live and they want to stay where they're at. That's the thing. Like, you can't do that in California unless you're not even upper middle class. You've got to be like
rich.
Yeah, you're rich.
Yeah.
But most people are not. And then the people that are that rich, they're really like so involved in their own business that they're like, they don't care if their family lives by them or not. So, for me, an ideal world would be like, hey, you have your own little cul-de-sac. You see it being built all around here in Texas. Like, you see full on, basically it's like a compound. You've got 4 houses. It's not even a cul-de-sac. It's like 4 houses and a pool in the middle in the backyard. And like everyone just kind of lives in their own houses and kids run from house to house. And it's your family.
That is a beautiful thing.
That would be awesome.
My sister said that
if you
all get along.
if you like the people near you, or it could be a nightmare, right?
It could be.
My sister said that this week, and I was talking to her because she called me up because she just talked to my dad, and my dad just lives down the street, about 45 minutes from me. But she was like, she's like, man, you got to talk to Dad. It seems like he just wants to stay in the house and watch TV. He needs to get out more and all this and that. And she was like, well, we're thinking about kind of coming out there or something. My sister lives in South Carolina, and then I have another sister lives in North Carolina, and then I have another sister lives down here. But my sister in South Carolina, yes, 3 older sisters.
I have 2 older sisters.
Yeah, it was rough. But when she was saying that the whole time, I was like, dude, why don't you move? You're in South Carolina. Why don't you move down here? You're talking about having my dad move closer to me or us get close together. But she just, like you said, as a reason for not doing it. Sometimes people make up reasons because she doesn't like where she lives. She drives like an hour to work. She's already retired from the military, so she can just move if she wanted to. And I was like, well, why don't you just move
It's the
here?
fear, Bobby.
Yeah, it's
the fear.
Change is a huge fear for a lot of people.
Like, look, for me moving here, I was amped. I was excited to move to Texas. I was pumped. I was like, look, I just need to get out of California. I need a change of pace. Mainly for me, it was a change of pace because the speed in California, in San Jose is just no matter what, it's go, go, go. And you feel like you're always just doing something. That's good, keeps you busy, but I need a change of pace. It was nice to get here. But the first 6 months here was rough. And some of it was like seeing my kids go through the meeting new kids phase, how hot it was. The kids didn't play outside. Seeing my son come home seemed like a little depressed the first, 2 months of school because they weren't playing outside. That's how they meet friends. That's how you build your friendships, right? Especially as a kid. And so it was, for me, that was like a little bit, it's kind of torture watching my kids. I get it, only having each other, but also too, like not being able to get out and do much. Like here, that first 2 months, it was 112, 110. Kids are not playing outside. They're like, I'm going to wait until they didn't even want to go outside and swim. They're like, the pool's 90 degrees. It's not cooling me off.
The boiling water.
So yeah, my son went out more to jump in the cold plunge than he did to get in the pool. And so we just had, it was that first 6 months was a little bit rough. And then once we got through the first holidays, it was nice. But I think to go back to your sister though, is it's a hard.
Maybe she just doesn't like you, Bobby.
No, that's what I was
It's
thinking.
okay.
I tried to ask her that.
Damn.
and I even told her.
I was on your side right there.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I'm used to the bullets. I'm like a dartboard over here.
No, I'm just saying it's one of a few things, right? And you have to consider that, like,
She likes my other sister that's here. They're really tight. They talk on the phone every day. That's whenever I tell her about coming down, I'm like, Jessica's here. You guys can just be right by each other. I don't say come over here for me. I say, hey, Jessica's here.
That's funny.
But it is that shit, because I don't understand it, because even with her, I even told her, I was like, Kathy, if you move down here, I said, I'll help you get a house, or I'll even pay your rent I told her I'll pay your rent for the year. Just come over here and then move, and then get situated. Yeah. You already have your retirement coming in. Find a job. You'll be cool. And she's like, oh yeah, well, we're thinking about trying to do it maybe next year, because she really wants to get out of there, but she just won't won't go. I'm a goer.
You can't say next year. You just got to do it. Yeah. And because here's the thing, like, look, it wasn't until Rich started giving me a hard time about moving here. I was like, hey, we're for sure coming. We're for sure coming.
Man,
Bobby's like,
what have you got to lose? I mean, you can always move back.
Yeah.
This ain't forever.
I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just lived in so many different places, and I've moved for opportunity that just like you.
Yeah.
I'll go. And so that's something I'm just built with.
That's how him and I became
just being able to do that.
Good friends. Like we were friends, but like then he moved to San Jose for Strike Force. I was like, shit, Rich and I we were hanging out every weekend for a while.
and I was all about it. And, but I get it. Some people are just, I know several people that are not, they've never left.
Won't do it. Changes.
Well,
but they'll complain about
where they're at.
That's just kind of
Are you talking about Guam or Hawaii?
Everywhere. Everywhere that I've lived, I've met people that I'm like, man, you really like it here? It's all right, but we're just staying, because I've lived in all the different places I've lived. I'll meet like the hardcore local guys, still hanging out with their high school friends, still not a bad thing. I'm just describing this type of person who just hasn't left, and they're content. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm hopping around all over the place trying to find the right or the next adventure. Maybe not the right place, or I don't even know how to describe it, but just different.
You're chasing the dream. That's what we're here for, right?
Something.
It's like to always be trying to chase what's next, and that's an entrepreneur mindset. Is like you're chasing what's next. I mean, we've all three of us have done things that, like, I don't know. Have you had a real job since you were like 18, 19? When was the last time you had a real job? Like you went back with Ruka for a bit. That was kind of
I mean, working for Fight Promotions is a real job.
No, but you know what I mean? Like a real, like a 9 to 5, like something that's not, I'm saying like that. The average person is not getting into fight promotions, right? Like it's very hard for them to get into something like that. Did you ever punch a ticket? You just walk in like, hey man, click, 9 o'clock.
Been a long time, maybe.
Work at a restaurant. You're like, yeah, I'm working from,
the early days when I was in my
11.
early 20s.
Insane.
I did it also just after I graduated college. I worked as a sports coordinator for a year. So after that, I went into the military and started wrestling, and then went from amateur wrestling straight to pro. Yeah, and then after that, I never had a job after that. Like a real job like that.
Yeah, I haven't had a real job since I was like 21, 22.
Yeah, and the moving thing with me is for change. My dad was in the military, so we didn't have an option. It's like, all right, we're moving. It's like, all right, let's go.
But I've also noticed that men have an easier time doing that. I feel like whether it's just in us to go ahead and just move from location to location, maybe it's, when we were, I don't know, settlers trying to figure out our place to live, moving west, whatever it is, just in us. I mean, not, like just all around the world, just trying to figure out where you're going to live. Constantly moving around. I don't know.
Men are leaders. So I think you have to be in the front of the pack to be able to be comfortable. And then the people in the back, they're like, oh, we got to follow him. So I think that's where they could be a little bit nervous or something. My kids, I wanted to move to Texas probably, my first run at WWE. I've tried to get out here since 2004, like 20 years ago almost. But then after that, it was like the first thing that I looked at when I came down here was schools. So like I was thinking about my kids the whole time. I was like, man, when's a good time to move? And for me, the best time to move was when Miles and Naomi were in 6th and 8th grade, because I didn't want to move them when they were in high school, because high school you're already kind of set in 6th and 8th grade, they're both in the same school. Naomi's just moving there. And then Miles is meeting a whole bunch of 8th graders that are going to be freshmen when you go in. So that was like the perfect time for them. So I was like, there's not going to be a better time. Because if so, it would have been Naomi in 7th grade. So she's kind of going to a whole brand new middle school, brand new kids. In the 6th grade, all those kids are coming from elementary. So they're coming from a couple different elementaries. So everybody's they have their little cliques, but they're still meeting new kids. So she just fit in. Same with Miles. Miles is in the 8th grade, but Miles is kind of a social butterfly. He can just make friends right off the bat. It was perfect for them, and they move up. And for me, like right now, Miles is sending stuff to me all the time. We're looking at possibly moving again. We've only been here for a couple of years, but it's not moving out of the area. It's just moving to like either Prosper or Salina. So Miles is sending me houses all the time. People are like, my mom's like, you guys just got this house. I was like, I don't care. We're going to move it. We're going to sell it. We're going to move. If we find something that works for us, we're going to stay in the same area because they're in school here. They have a few more years left. I'm not moving them. So we can stay around this area. But as far as moving houses, man, we will move tomorrow. I don't care. If we find something that fits for us, let's go, guys. And my kids are like, let's go, Dad. We're out.
Yeah, we like it up here. We're in the Prosper area and stuff. The schools are good. People are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have Frontier Park. We got all these other community parks. More high schools being built. There's one more high school being built. Tons of middle schools being built right now. We have one going in right here by my house. So my kids will end up shuffling over there and just golf cart them to school. We can go elementary school to middle school, golf cart to both. They don't have to ever do it. They can ride their bikes, walk. So we're in a good position right now. We're pretty happy with all of that. So anytime you gotta, take time to take your kids, like we would get stuck in California 45 minutes to take the kids to school. Son went to one school, daughter went to another. Then even if they would have went to the same school, it still would have been, 35 minutes to get Kellen to school, and then, to turn around and come back, it would have been another 15 minutes. So it would have been a 45-minute drive no matter how I look at it. We were obviously on our group text all week, but I mean, like, I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about was picking or choosing your significant other.
Like, why are you guys looking at me? You guys are looking at me.
We both look at you? Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Even Peter
Why'd
was
you make
looking
that
at
face,
me.
though? You made a face that was like,
I was like, what are you
what's he going to say?
I don't have the answer. Obviously,
Hey,
you guys do.
Hey, this is either going to be
What are
really
we
great
talking
for
about
us
here?
or really bad for us.
Yeah.
And let's go. Let's see where it takes us.
I guess qualities, personality, do you vision having, did you visualize what your kids would be like with them, or if she'd be a good mother? Like, what were your thoughts? I mean, Bobby, you've got more experience than us, but you can. You can.
I think I should be interviewing you guys,
but
because I think it's
what to do.
No, because you guys are married, so you guys obviously made that decision in finding out who that person is. Where I'm on the whole other side, where if I do meet somebody and I start dating them, I start looking at, is she going to be good? Like, I have a daughter, Naomi. I need to have somebody that's a good role model for Naomi, and I got a girl that can that I got to find a girl that, my kids don't need parents. They don't need a mom. Their mom is there, whatever. But this person's going to be in their life. So I'm out there vetting this person. Is she going to be somebody that's positive for Miles? Is it like, and I look at it that way. So there's a bunch of different questions that I have when I meet girls. So it's completely different from dating and having somebody that you already have there.
What if they have kids?
I love kids. So, and I think that
even if they're not yours,
even if they're not mine, because I like to be able to mentor younger kids. So I like to be able to mentor. So if somebody has a kid, I let them know, like, at the same time, it's hard for me because I'm not trying to be anybody else's dad. I have my kids, and it's hard for me to bring another person's kid into my life and say, here, I need to be dad. So if I do, I hope that her dad's still in their life. And I always pay a lot of respects to the dad. So I tell her, like the one I'm seeing now, if there's anything with her daughter, I'm like, your dad's there, but I can always offer some advice. I can help out, or I can help mentor or anything like that, but I'm not going to take the place of him. So, and I think it's the same way for me with my ex. When she has somebody that brings somebody into my kid's life, my kids know who dad is. And I try to meet them right away and say, hey, we're working together here. I don't want to be against you. Me and her have been great friends for years. So let's all work together here. Be on the same page.
Well, no, I'm talking about more of the selection of when you met we met Naomi and Miles' mom. Like, what was that process like? Did you see yourself with her for a long time? Did you see yourself being with her for getting married and staying together for a long time, or what were the hiccups?
At the time, I did, because at the time we were riding together, so we were just friends, completely friends. She was dating somebody, I was dating somebody. We were just riding together. We were really close friends. She was attractive, so at the same time, we there was no crossing any boundaries or anything. We were just friends the entire time. And afterwards, when it went past the friendship, when we broke up and we started seeing each other, I looked at all the positive things with her. She was, and we're breeding kids, so athletic. She was motivated. She was she had a lot of great qualities and good qualities as a caring person also. So I looked at a lot of different things with life. And then her family life also. Her parents were together at the time. Her dad was really, really, really positive, nice guy, super nice guy, liked to work in the community and everything like that. And then mom, you can only vet them so much. You can't find a perfect person, and you don't even know what a perfect person is going to be like. But we got engaged, and then after we got engaged, we ended up having my son, and then we stayed together, and then we had my daughter. So it was not planned to have kids, but it was planned to be together.
No, but when you guys first met and then when you guys first started dating, I'm sorry, I should say that. Did you think like, hey, like she's an athlete, like I'm looking to have athletes? Like, does that go through your mind?
We're talking about selective breeding.
That's what I'm talking about. I've had a lot of talks with parents.
Like breeding two dogs.
I literally have talks with parents here in Texas. They're talking about like, I wanted a tall husband because I want my kids to be athletic. I want my kids to play basketball. I played basketball, and I'm, she's 5'11", and my husband, is 6'6". Like,
yes. We didn't look at it that way, but when we started seeing each other, everybody started saying, damn, you guys are going to have super kids. Because she was in great shape. Like, she did a lot of stuff in the fitness industry and all that stuff, very athletic. So they were like, damn, you guys are going to have super kids. So that was something that came up, but that wasn't something that we said, all right, got to check this box and check this box. It wasn't like that at the time.
And then personality-wise, you guys meshed, obviously, if you guys were friends first, and then it seems like it's easier that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But outside of that, you said she was driven. What caused you guys to, if you don't mind me asking, what caused you guys to separate?
I think that we were better friends, and that's what we both understand now, is that that's why, because when we rode together, we rode together for an entire year. We would sleep in the same hotel room together, no crossing boundaries at all whatsoever. We were really, really good friends. And then we looked at that as saying, oh, because you hear it all the time. Oh, my best friend, and then we crossed those boundaries, and then it was like, it made it kind of awkward. It wasn't awkward at the beginning. Like, we ran together for a while, but it just seemed like we just had some conflicts there, because a friend and a girlfriend is different. And that's what it was. And once we went in there, it just seemed like we started butting heads too much, and it got ugly there for a while. And it was just like, all right. And then we had to like put that to the side. And then we had to say, all right, we have these kids together. Let's focus on our kids. And then now we're back to that friendship. And we both, I thank her all the time. I have amazing kids, and she does the same. Like, we really focus on our kids, and it makes things really, really good right now.
And then what about your first child with her mom?
My first kid, my oldest daughter, we were together for years. And if we go on the relationship side, I was young. I felt like, and she was older than me. We dated for 4 years, and we broke up, and we were completely broken up, and we were trying to move on. And then it was kind of one of those back and forth. And then that time we just said, we're done. We're never doing this anymore. And then I was actually getting ready to leave to Louisville. I had everything packed up in my car, and I was going to drive to Louisville. I just signed my contract with OVW. And then right before I left, she came over, and she was like,
oh, here we go.
And I was like, and we weren't even we were not together. If I would have left there, I would have probably never seen her again. And I probably would have never been back to Colorado Springs. The whole my whole life would have changed at that. But because that happened, I was like, oh damn. So I had to still go to Louisville because I just had the contract. And then she was just flying back and forth, and I was going back and forth while she was pregnant. And then after that, we said, let's try to make this work. Let's see if we can make it work for our daughter. And after about 1.5 years of trying, we were just like, nah.
It's like, nah.
Nah, bro.
Nah.
And I think, and I'll put it on myself too, because I think for myself, I think relationships are very, very hard for me. I struggle with them. I struggle with, I don't know what it is. Commitment or whatever. I don't know what it is. I struggle with it, but I think that I'm a huge issue in the relationships that I had. My parents broke up when I was seventh, 8th grade, but it was even before that. It was ugly before that. So when they split, I lived with my mom. So, the cycle kind of continues, and it continued with me.
Do you use that as an excuse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure do.
Damn right I do.
I'm not gonna lie. It's hard because and right now I'm very nitpicky. I'm not perfect, but I expect perfection. And it's hard. It's hard. It's a cycle. It's something that I got to continue going on counseling with because at the time, because it sucks because I look up to you guys. Because I even told you the one episode when I came in and I was like, you guys are lucky. You have your wife, you have a teammate, you have somebody there. And sometimes I get overwhelmed because it's me with my kids. And I mean, they have their mom, but I'm saying as far as at home, like I cut 90% of just things that I want to do out because I got to be there for my kids. I'm there for my kids. And I love it. And it's the greatest thing that I could ever do. But I don't have that companion to kind of like do life with and build things with and go with. I mean, I date and I'm dating, so we kind of work on like stuff together and putting things together, but it's different from having somebody there for you all the time.
Do you want to have someone there? I feel like we're counseling you right now. But I'm saying,
I know.
No, but I'm saying like
This is your session. The time has started.
Yeah,
Like,
Bobby,
I
lay
was
down.
going to
and,
counsel Rich.
No, but I was saying like, do you feel like when the kids are out of the house, that it'll be like, hey, like I'm really gonna make it a priority, or not make it a it happens. It happens naturally. You don't want to force it. You don't want to try to make it where you are making it a priority, trying to find someone. But like now you have more time to yourself, more time to actually spend with somebody else, and not really care if they're is involved with your kids, because your kids are going to be coming and going now if they're in college. They won't be probably as much in your house as.
Yeah, I thought about this a lot, what you're asking, and I think that even when my kids are out, I'm going to want to have that one person even more.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
because at that point is like I want to live life. I'm not a person that's just want to run around and hook up here, hook up there. That's just not me. But I would want to have somebody that hey, let's go to Tokyo and spend a few weeks there, and just be able to have that travel partner, that person that you can be with. You can do life together. You guys can. Build businesses together, like work together. You can do all that stuff. Like, yeah, I want that a little bit more. And I think I'll have it even more when my kids aren't there because of what we were talking about. Like when I meet somebody, if I meet somebody now, it's like, can they be around my kids? And then it's like, nope, I don't want this person around my kids.
It'll be a little less complicated.
Yeah, because at that point I can say, yeah, come on in. It's my house. The kids aren't there. So there's no, who's this lady walking around, dad kind of thing. So that's why I have one person and she can be around my kids and I'm not that revolving door. But, like I said, once my kids are out, I can maybe look at something more solid and not have to put, you need to be good for my kids also. It's just, it's us.
Got it. What about you? Like
What about me, Josh?
Yeah. Like, what about you?
It's
I'm going to ask Peter too. He doesn't have kids, but I want to know what Peter's thinking.
It's way less interesting than Bobby. I think that's why it's a little more simple. But look, started off just very career driven. I didn't want to have kids or start a family in my 20s.
Yeah.
Right. We all know guys that started real early. I know some guys that are already expecting grandkids soon.
Yes.
In our age group, and that just never was me. It was always focused on my career and wanting
Do you now look at it though and think to yourself that you could almost be like the kids could be in college and you could be having grandkids, and like thinking to yourself, man, it would be nice to have the energy to play with my grandkids. Like we still. Like,
I'm gonna have the energy. I'm gonna have the energy.
know what I mean?
I have zero regrets. I think I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Like, so I had Ollie, my first kid, at 35.
Mhm. Yes,
I think for me, what makes things a little more interesting in that regard is Bailey's 9 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
So she's a lot younger and, brings
Good
that.
job.
I mean, and as far as, I know you asked earlier, like, what did I see? I knew that although she was a lot younger, she was really rooted in family, like just really strong family connection, which is a big plus for me, was a big plus. I just knew she'd be a great mother and a great person to build a home with. And
Mhm.
I'm glad I took that bet and just kind of had that instinct, because everything is coming together the way I had hoped, and even better in some ways. It's been a lot of work. She's dealt with a lot of my shit, but we've worked on things, and we're in a good place now with the hectic schedule, the working all the time, all these things that I've seen break couples apart and families apart. Like, we always talk about very successful people not having the best family life, and I think we're really creating a home where we just kind of roll with certain things, and it just all started with, I think, accepting certain things and being a little open about it. I had talked about this before. And she challenged me in many ways. Just a typical guy that likes to work and got my head down and don't always communicate that great. And it's funny. We're good at communicating in things we understand and are really comfortable with business and simple male friendships. But when it comes to those taking it to the level that women want us to, right? We're just kind of like, oh, shut down. And he's like, nah, it ain't, it doesn't work that way. And so, she's been really good for my growth and development.
Like I remember during the time we would talk about like the traveling, because I was traveling around the same time you were. You did obviously a lot more than I did. You'd have to go for longer periods of time, working for Bellator and the traveling for every show. And tell us like the burden it kind of puts on, especially when you have kids, like at home, still working.
It was
That's
very
the hard
hard in the beginning, especially. It's hard in a different way now, but it was very hard early on because she was working as well. We're living in California. I remember going home with Ollie. We went to an apartment. We're in a small apartment, starting off our lives, and as a family, and she had to work, and I was traveling quite a bit, so that put a lot of pressure on her, and she's the one running around quite a bit when I'm gone. And we talk after these long days, and I talk to her at the end of the day. Man, she was just tired and frustrated, and naturally so, right? I think that's where a lot of tension comes from in those early days, right? When you're a young family and you don't know what you're doing. You have young kids, and even just one, you don't even need multiple, but just one is enough to make things stressful, tense, complicated, and you're just trying to get through it. And you don't really know what you're doing. And then baby 2 came, and it became a little easier, but still, now you have 2, and so that's a different challenge. And now they're 10 and 7, and it's way easier.
Oh yeah.
Because they're independent, right? They're starting to get there, and it's a lot more fun and a lot easier. And then at your age, right, it's even easier.
What do you mean my age?
Well,
my kids' age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, calm down, buddy. Calm down. My bad.
I was like, are we fighting already? Is me rich today?
He's being rich.
No, but
It ain't me today.
with the kids,
It
I
ain't me.
mean, right? I mean, it's they take care of themselves, right?
Yes.
So this is like
you're not bathing them or like getting their clothes
No,
out for them in the morning. Like, let me turn the shower on.
You
for
know,
you.
you guys are gonna have to deal with this. Also, is like, at what age do you like let them almost? What age can you leave and leave for hours? Because like right now, do you guys leave like nobody at home with your kids? What age do you
Hell
think
no.
it'll be before both
Teens,
both
maybe the
parents can
teens,
leave?
like where your kids
13,
are at.
13, 16.
Yeah,
What about 12, 15?
We gotta be careful because
around there.
I want CPS being called on me right now. No, like this. Okay, so let me give you a little. This week we started this little thing. My daughter, she's been asking, like, I want money to make my bed. I said, no. I'm not giving you money to make your bed. She's 6. And she just turned 6. So I'm like,
awesome.
no. So I said, hey, she's like, I want $1. And I was like, okay, if you want $1. So we bought her an alarm clock that goes off now.
Yeah.
Buy it. You know, we can control it from our phone. So it's set for 6 a.m. I said, if you wake yourself up, like if the alarm wakes you up, you get yourself up. And on that clock, we set the lights to the app also. So the lights in her room turn on and the alarm goes off at 6.
Yeah.
So she just got to basically just get up when the alarm goes off. She wakes, so she gets herself up. We lay her clothes out the night before. She puts her clothes on. She brushed her teeth, comb her hair, come out, make her snack bag, and make her bed. And she gets $1 for the day. So I give her at the end of the week. So last week she got $3 because we started in the middle of the week on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she got $3. But to make the story more fun, I give her $1 a goal for soccer. And so every goal she scores, she runs by me like this. So I've got it on video, her running by me. She scored. I know this is funny. I was there. She scores her first goal. I leave because my son's got a game, down the street. I leave to take him to his game. I leave at halftime. My wife texts me, goal number 2, and the video of her doing this. No. Goal number 3. Then a goal number 4. Goal number 5. I've got every video of her running past mom like this. Goal number 5. Like she's counting. And so we know what goal she's on because she's counting the dollars. She got $8 on Saturday.
Damn.
$8. She's cashing out right now.
She's about to get an NIL deal.
She's cashing out right now.
That's a lot of money for a 6-year-old, man.
That's a lot of goals.
So-
I love it.
So
She's
she had a
earning it.
baby. So we bought her like a letter N for her first name is Anaya, and then her letter, and it has a glass front. So she puts her change in there. So it was getting full. So she got done with the dollars. She went to put them in there. It doesn't fit. So we had to buy her a safe, like a little safe with
Might
a
need
key.
to adjust
Yeah.
She is
the
a
amount
baller.
here. Or,
So I mean, I didn't
Maybe
expect. Kellen gets $5 per goal, but he's got to. That's the thing. Like he's got to.
It's
like,
tougher.
It's tougher. So it's a little bit tougher on. He plays on higher
Shoot,
teams,
you
obviously.
should-
But
you should up hers up to $5 a goal.
bro, I'd be broke.
It
Yeah.
don't matter, but she'd be a star.
She'll be an XRP by next week.
yeah, it's gonna be. Hey, give me an
She'll be
XRP. I don't want
Oh,
$1
that was
anymore.
good,
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
I want mine in XRP. Bring it to me in XRP or don't bring it.
Oh my goodness, that's
But-
fantastic.
But yeah, I'm sorry, man. I know we got off track on that. But yeah, we just started that. And when you guys talk about when is too soon to leave your kids, my wife and I went to go look. There's another house in the community we were looking at. And we were just like, hey, like, we're just going to be there for 20 minutes looking at the house and come back. So we just left them. We're just like, yeah, like my son's really good with his sister. She can be a little stubborn with him sometimes. But we do know we have cameras all through our house. So every room, except for the bathrooms, obviously. Just yeah, but every room has a camera, pretty much. I mean, this one's got 6 cameras in here, so
Yeah.
it's like,
I like that. I want to come back on that because that is interesting what you said as far as leaving him and then when to do it. But back to what we were talking about as far as mate, because you didn't answer it. When you went with your wife, did you look at your wife and saying, "That's a person"? Like, where do you rank that of her being a good mom and being good for that part? Because when you start dating people, you look at looks, attitude, all these different things. Where do you look at saying, all right, I'm going to propose this lady. This has to be the first on the list. Is that the first on the list?
so look, let's be honest. Every single one of us, the first thing that attracts you to them is their looks.
Sure.
That's 100%. Then that's the thing that breaks the barrier to get you into the door and be like, hey, I'm very attracted to you. Let's go ahead and move it forward. And you try, and hopefully they want to move forward with you. Sometimes they don't. So, but then to be honest, my wife she didn't like me for a year. Surprise, surprise. And so we, for a whole year, we didn't really get along. So we worked together and we definitely weren't compatible. She wasn't really into my type, which is fair. But she was very soft spoken. She was, I could tell she was very sweet. She was the boss too of like a couple different departments. And so she had to deal with all the like people that were always trying to like talk to her or always trying to get something from her. And so she just was like, so literally like we ended up with our relationship basically a year later, we started kind of having to work with each other a little bit more on stuff. And I said, hey, I'd like to take you out. And she's just like, you work here. Like, I'm not going to date you. So I said, so if I didn't work here, like, would you go out with me? And so she said, basically like, yeah, but you do. So she's like, but she just kind of left it at that. And so the next day, I just so happened to call up the district manager. I was like, hey, like Sunnyvale, where we were living in California, said needs, another officer like me to be there. Like, I'm down to transfer. And he's like, you know what? It's they need help over there. So within like 2-3 days, I had transferred, called her up and said, hey, come have lunch with me. She's like, oh, what are you doing over there? And I was like, oh, I said I transferred. You said you wouldn't go out with me until then.
Dang.
So I transferred, and then she came and had a Sunday with me that day because they had a restaurant inside the department. And so we had lunch, and then we went to a movie that night, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
So she gave you your peace.
Yeah. So it was like that. And then for me, it was more, so you talked about your parents splitting. For me, it was the same thing. But for me, the biggest thing has always been loyalty. Like I needed to find someone who I knew no matter what would be loyal. And would like to touch on what Rich said. She's very family oriented.
Yeah.
Like that is, and Rich had the same problem, is when you move to Texas, you're taking them away from their family. Their family was, 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away, 10 minutes away. Sisters were there. Mom and dad are there. That was the most difficult thing because you marry them, you are with them because they are family oriented. You love that about them, but now here you are taking them away from your family, but only to build your own family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. That is the hard part of it all. But
how long have you guys been married?
A long time. But like we didn't get married till our 10-year anniversary. Yeah. So we got married on our 10-year anniversary and then been together now for a long time. And it's just one of those things where, like I think you're just looking for the one that's the most for me, it was to be the most trustworthy. My parents had trust problems and very, very reasonably so.
Same here. That's why I'm
that
we were older when we had kids and started this other part of our lives, but I think we're a little more ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you still need that loyalty, and that's a huge thing for him. And what he said, loyalty is a huge deal because we've all put ourselves in a really good position. So you're bringing somebody in to basically say, all of mine is yours. And it's hard to be able to trust people in that, especially right now, man. And for me, it's challenging. It's challenging, like saying, can I trust this person 100%? Because that's like one of the biggest things with finding somebody. You say, are you looking at somebody for kids? Okay, back when I was 20 or something, yes, that's probably what it was. I looked at that as a criteria. Is this person good? Can we have kids together? Can we build a family together? So yes, that was before. Now that's not even something in the cards. I'm not even thinking about that. It's more of, can I trust this person? Loyalty's 100%. It's everything. Because if I bring somebody in, everything that I work for, they're going to take half of it, and then they're going to and they're going to latch on. And whoever I bring in, I want to be able to give them everything that I have, because that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't, then why not? Why are you getting married with them? I think some people, like when people talk about signing a prenup, I'm like, I understand it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, you're just saying that this ain't going to work. Don't get married. If you have to sign a prenup, in my opinion, don't get married, because you're saying that you don't trust that person. It's hard, but if this is the person, because it's supposed to be death do us part, if you death do us part, then you shouldn't need a prenup. And if you have any kind of reservations of this person doing anything or not being loyal to you or whatever the case is, I know this it's insurance, but why do it?
Here's the thing, though, is that people these days have become really good actors.
Yes.
And they will, and look, it's not just women. Like there's plenty of successful women that I know, especially in Silicon Valley, that the male sold her a bag of goods and she bit it. She went for it, and she didn't have him sign a prenup, and that dude's just collecting alimony now, just chilling. So it's not just women. I know women get the grunt of most of it, but it really just comes down to women and men can act. They've learned to act with all the social media, man. They're on TikTok doing their dances, doing their acting.
You put on a mask.
Yeah. So, and look, I just saw this meme the other day and it said, man, there's so many naked women on social media, man. I sometimes wonder myself, man, like, what would she look like with a dress? You know what I mean? And back then when we were young, like MySpace had just started, kind of that thing. But I never had that feeling. Like my wife has no social media. She's never had any social media. She's, like it makes a big difference on your relationships. Also, the less you talk about your relationships to random strangers, which we're doing now, but the stronger your relationships normally are. And my wife and I, we dated we were together a long time before. It was a year before I got in the UFC. We were together the very first time I got in the UFC. So back in like 2000, then we were together. Then we had a little rocky spot, and then we got back together, and then we got married, and then so on. But it was a lot of, for me, it was I'm having success, being supportive. She was there being supportive, and then got to a level of success of like, don't give me a hard time now. And so that was a little bit on me. Like, hey, like when I say this or I do this, or because you're making good money and you think you got to still remember they're humans. You can't be their boss. They're your partner. And that I had to learn that by the experience of putting her through shit. And then she fired back and was like, okay, look, we can't do this right now. So we took a break, and getting back together and then getting married, it was worth it. I think the break taught a lot. But just the experience of having someone is loyal, someone is a family person, someone that no matter what will be there. My wife didn't want to have kids. When we found out she was pregnant, I was excited, and she was like nervous, like extremely nervous, like not sure if she would be a good mom, not sure if she kind of was like, if we don't ever have kids, because then we were 35, 36 years old, and then that's hard. But so for me, I did it for selfish reasons. I didn't want to have kids until I was older because I wanted my career to almost be over, because I knew how much time fighting took. And fighting, like I remember being there with John Fitch and Mike Swick and Trevor Prangley and Phil Baroni on Thanksgiving night doing the assault bike, right? Getting the workouts in, grappling and wrestling on Thanksgiving night while my whole family was having dinner. And I'm sure you had the same things, traveling on Valentine's Day, right? To fight venues.
I think we all make sacrifices in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a tough life and a tough business to be a part of.
Because if you don't, somebody else will do your job, right? If you don't take the fight, someone else is going to slide in there and make that money. If you don't travel, someone else can slide in. They can't do what you can do, but they can try to do as best as they can. But someone's willing, promotions or companies are willing to slide people in and try and take your job.
I think that's why it's even more important that you have whoever you're with, they have to be your teammate. Because they have to know your life just as well as you do. Yeah. And when we were doing that men's group, one of the guys said that he said he had to bring his family in because when he came home from work and there was a different energy about him. He said before he went in, he had, all right, I'm coming home, so I'm going to release it. But you know what? I think that when you do that, you hold everything in to play. Oh, I got to be happy and everything, where your stomach is boiling because something that happened at work, as opposed to letting your family know your life, know what's going on in your life and being a part of it. So when you come home, they know the frustration, they can be there with you, and then they can help you kind of work your way through it. My kids right now, they know almost everything with me going on through work. They know what I'm doing, where my investments are and everything like that. So they know when, oh, dad's right here. Oh, dad's here. Oh man, this is insecurity. And my kids will ask me, like my daughter, after she come back, she was like, hey dad, how's it going? And she was like, oh, you guys did the signing, and she was getting into it. She was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, I got to get up at like 4 a.m. She's like, oh, I know this is a little tough. So she understands where I'm at. She understands what I'm going through. She understands where I'm at when I come home. So I think this is really important. And if you're with a mate, she has to be a part of your life to know what's going on in your life also.
That's a good point to include your kids into the conversations of whatever your daily work is. The only problem that I have is that I have had conversations just as of recently with firefighters and police officers and a couple people that are in the military. They have some of the highest divorce rates. how do you come home and tell your kids, yeah, I just saw a little girl was raped 6 times, basically dead, laying there. Like I know I just took it to another level, but like police officers, firefighters, seeing people burn, seeing, people being blown up in the military, like those are things that you got to come home and try to process. And so there's your side of giving them all the knowledge. And there's also a side where when I was talking with some of the police officers here, they said, look, when I walk into the house, I tell my wife, give me 30, 40 minutes to myself. I just need to figure out a way to process whatever it is I saw that day. And also too, on how to just come out and be energized and happy to see my kids. Yeah. Because there's times where I see a little girl or a little boy who was beaten to death by their dad or their mom or whatever. And I come home and all I want to do is love my kids and give them hugs and just be like so affectionate to the point where they're like, don't like dad too much. There's that. And then there's times where I see other things and I just need to come home and be like, I just need to just be by myself for a second so I can process all this and come out and set my mentality for the night.
I know it's hard to be able to talk to him about certain things, but I think you can talk to him in a way, but I think I'm not right. I'm not married, but I think that you should do it, because I think the more you hold things in, because that's what men do all the time. And that's why men, heart attacks, strokes, all these different things, because we hold everything in because we're supposed to be men and be strong. If he had something like that, or an issue like that, he should have his wife as his counselor. If she's not your counselor, then I think it could cause some problems. Like,
you're talking about with the wife. I was talking about with the kids. Like, you don't talk to the kids that way.
Even the kids. Okay. But first when you come home, instead of, hey, I need time alone. Hey, honey, can I talk to you over here? Mm-hmm. And then just like, hey, this is what I had to go. This is, you gotta unbag that. Like, talk to her about it. And then when you go to your kids, you don't have to give them like the hardcore truth, but you can give them like the, I had to deal with some things where some bad things happened to some kids or something like that. And that just makes me appreciate you a little bit more. Daddy does have to deal with something. I mean, and there's certain ages, like, of course, I'm going to talk to my kids different than you guys. My kids are 13 and 16. So I talk to my kids about a lot, and they know some of the backstage stuff. Some of the really hardcore stuff, I try to keep that away a little bit. But if it is something that's a little bit risky, I'll bring it to them at a point of a learning lesson so they can understand that a little bit more also.
I guess what we're trying to say is, like, when you're choosing, give me your top, like when you were choosing to, like, hey, I enjoy spending time with you, with your wife. You enjoy, like, for me, it's loyalty. For me, it's, like you said, rooted in family. Give me another option. Give me something else. Like, those were the two things that were the most important to me. Cause, like, coming from a broken home, seeing my aunts and uncles, their broken relationships, seeing how they treated each other. I had a very big family and they all connected, all of us cousins connected. But as we grew older, we all kind of started to separate and we're not as close as we were when we were younger. And I know, to me, it's the most important thing is having a loyal wife. That's number one. And having being rooted in family, going back to see family, seeing her family, my family, all the cousins and the nephews and nieces. Those are the two probably most important things to me right now in my life. And in selecting a wife too. What about you?
Same. Like, I'll go back to those qualities that I saw early on that I'm like was really, really attracted to. Outside of the physical, it was just, and this is somebody that I could build a home with, that I would want to raise my children, and somebody that could be a co-pilot, a partner, you name it. Because it's hard, right? I mean, here we are. Half of all marriages end in divorce, right? If not more. And we're in an era where we talked about social media. We talked about, how that complicates things. And I'm also very conscious of, we're all very ambitious, right? We're trying to do some things. We're trying to grow businesses, and it's hard. And it's hard when you put all these things together. Trying to be a dad, you're trying to be a businessman, you're trying to be a husband, and it's hard. It's really hard on us, I think, these days. Like, don't get me wrong, women have their own challenges. That's a little different, but as men, we're not really given as much kind of sympathy, right? Like you said, you just got to suck it up and deal with it, man. Just be a man and handle your shit. And it ain't always easy. Right.
But having a good partner helps ease that pain a little bit.
For sure.
It's not just ease the pain, but also to bounce things off of. But my grandmother used to have this saying, like, it's not you versus your wife, it's you and your wife versus the problem. And that makes a huge deal. And then on top of that, just understanding that, do you want to wake up, if it's you and your wife, you guys are having problems and there's a potential of you guys just splitting, divorcing, any of that, and you have kids, the one thing that stuck with me the most was what my grandmother said with the problem solving. But on top of that is, do you want another man or another woman raising your kids? That sunk into me a lot. No, I don't want some other man basically teaching my son how to catch a ball. I don't want some other man taking my kids to this park or that park and showing them how to do things that I should have been doing. And because we're splitting time, because my kids are 4 days over there and 4 days over here, I don't want that. I want to be the one doing it. And that was part of my responsibility anytime I decided to have kids. I said, I want to be able to dedicate all my time to my kids, no matter what it is. And I know you're the same way. And, Bobby obviously is the same way. You said it earlier today. Yeah. Like, you don't need, the kids don't need a mom. They have a mom. And she's involved. So, like, I don't need to bring in a woman that's going to be their mom. Just, and that's an important thing. Like, to understand the roles.
I ran into that situation like what you were talking about, and I got a little butthurt at the beginning too, because my ex got married, and then Miles was telling me that her husband was going to go and teach Miles how, and Miles and they took him out to the lake or something. He taught him how to shoot and everything. I was like, hold up, but I don't know how to do it. So I was like, hey, bro, I mean, certain things when you're bringing up all my kids, just let me know. Just let me know. I'll let you do it. I have no problem with you doing it, but I don't want you to feel like you have to like do these things because you got to teach these kids because they're your kids. So that was something that I had to kind of work with a little bit. What you're saying is somebody else being there in the life of my
but not
kids.
Everyone's going to take it as well as you did.
Yeah, some guys get really defensive. Don't be touching me. Don't tell my kids anything. You don't scold them. You don't educate them. You don't do
be
anything.
Bringing a gun around my kids. Don't be showing like I don't want my kids raised. I don't want my kids knowing how to hold on. I'll do that, and that's the real. That's
and I didn't with him. I was like, but I didn't know about it beforehand. I told my ex, I was like, hey, this dude's gonna be teaching Naomi, my daughter. She's like 10, I think, or 11 at the time. I was like, just get me in on this thing. Talk to me. Tell me. Hell, if he's cool with it, I'll go out there also, and I'll get some education. I've already learned how to shoot a gun, but it's been a while, and I have my guns and everything like that. But I'll go there also so that I can be a part of this experience. Just talk to me. They're my kids.
You've done a really good job of like when you share your experience with us. I think it's really interesting that there's a lot of people that stick together and are in miserable relationships for the kids, but you guys decided we're not going to do that. We can be really great co-parents and just live our own lives and go be happy. And I think to me, that's better than staying together when you're miserable and having the kids be around that. Right now, I know this wasn't the perfect scenario, but I think you made the best.
Yeah. I talked to so many people, men and women that are split up. And then when they talk about their ex like that, man, I'm just like, ooh, like I'm never on the side of them. Yeah, I hate him. He did this. I'm like, no, absolutely. No. Absolutely. I said, because one thing is that you made those kids with him. And you got to understand, if you're bad-mouthing him and he's bad-mouthing you, you know what kind of trauma that brings to those kids? They get anxiety. Kids will get that anxiety because I even felt it, when me and my ex first split up, they can tell, dad and mom are not getting along. They knew it. Even if we tried to hide it from them, mom's not talking to dad, she's dropping him off and she can't come to the door. And then he's like beeping the horn and then they argue on the phone. Kids see and feel all of that. So man, I'm telling you guys, if you have a situation, go to your ex and say, thank you for giving me these kids. These kids are amazing. And then you guys should work past your differences, push those off to the side. I always say drinking poison and hoping the other person dies, because that's what you're doing when you're trying to like get them, make them mad and everything like that. You're drinking poison and your kids are suffering, or you're drinking poison and the wrong people are suffering. So stop doing it. Just get along with your ex. Just say, hey, you know what? We made beautiful kids together, and that's what's important. That's all we need to deal with, and be friends. There was something that brought you guys together when you made the damn kids. So just go back there and just say, let's erase all this and understand that you're not a bad person. We're just oil and water. We don't mix. That's
You know
what I
brought
said
us
with
together?
my ex.
Lust.
Was that?
No, you're true, but like you're correct. It's just, it comes down to the memories that I have after my parents got divorced was my dad never said anything bad about my mom, and my mom said everything bad about my dad. So what I remember is that's what broke my relationship with my mother, is that like, man, it took me a long time until just recently, probably about 7-8 years ago, did we start talking again. I just had no desire to speak to her because everything she said when they were going through all their divorce and everything, it was never positive about my father. And then now that my father's gone, it's like, those are things that I think I look back and I'm like, man,
You didn't have to do that.
yeah, she didn't have to do that. Like,
Yes,
no,
yeah.
and especially the way that she did it, vocally in front of other people, vocally to us, vocal like in front of her, my grandmother, and then of course her sisters and her mother are going to jump on board. They're going to start saying it too, and I had resentment towards them, and that's a problem. So, look, if you're looking, if things are rough and in your relationship and you're having problems, we don't have all the answers, but just a couple little things. Like, remember, it's not you versus her and her versus you. It's you two versus the problem. So whatever the issue is, try and figure it out. And as a male, it's very hard to swallow your pride and try to work through it, but it's something that we can do. You know, just like I said, the two of you guys versus the problem will make a big difference in your marriage and your relationship, whether you're married or not. It's just in your relationship. Do what's right for the kids. That's the biggest thing. You know, and if you are separated, you guys are divorced, try not to speak disparagingly against your kid's mom or dad or whatever. Like, do they remember that? And I'm giving you proof that I remembered it. And it's one of the biggest things that sticks out to me in my life is that's why we didn't have a great relationship with my mother, is because of those things. So there's a lot to take from this show. This is a good show. I felt like, you know, a lot of eye-opening experience and what to look for in terms of what you're looking for in your significant other. If you're with someone, you're not sure if they are the one, are they loyal? You know, that's a huge thing. Do you feel they're loyal? Are they rooted in family? Those are two of the major important things. How do they receive and how do they talk about their own family? Those are things to really look forward to. Look for in a woman, at least on my side, and I think your side as well. And Bobby, you know. So hope you guys enjoyed this show. Leave a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up, and hey, share our content anywhere out there you would like. And we want to thank you guys so much. And make sure you guys subscribe.